is this happening in our society? Who lets this happening? Who lets this happen? The parents, the caregivers, the protectors in society. How do they let their children off to go and stay with relatives, so-called relatives, people they do not really know about, and then fold their arms? Sometimes it's not intentionally, they do it because of probably economic circumstance or not. We had guests in the house, the acting coordinator, rapper Jumaima Daki. We also had a survivor of trafficking, Sia Guangzun, and I'm sure you'd agree with me that it was an emotional story. She actually told us the ordeals through being trafficked beyond the shores of Nigeria, how she suffered to the point that she had to be returned to the country. Being trafficked as a sex worker is not something that people find lightly. So I'm sure you learned a lot from it. Anita, any thoughts on that?
The fact that people hear these stories and they still continue to send their children out is very, very worrisome.
Sure.
You know, I'd say we've had reports of people who traffic themselves, you know, thinking that this is easy business, I don't have to do much. But the psychological torture, the physical torture, the psychological torture, and the emotional torture that you go through is not something that you would want for anyone else. So don't let them lure you with this similitude of living a good life, of being rich, you know, that the big girl stuff. There's nothing like that too. You are being treated less than an animal, especially when you're trafficked.
Sure.
And some of the things should not even be said on air at all.
Definitely.
But you know, sadly, beyond the shores of Nigeria, such activities are happening even here on the plateau. People are still doing it.
Sadly.
I've heard of certain places, you know, certain hideouts, certain buildings where they pick teenage girls, very close by here, pick teenage girls and keep them there, and they keep them there as sex workers. For God's sake, what are we doing to our society? How are we going to have a future? What do you think becomes of those people who are emotionally battered, you know, psychologically insane? And then you let them out in the society, and then what do we have? Chaos, crisis, and a circle of violence that keeps repeating
over and
itself.
over and over again.
So it's good that we keep talking about these things. And the more we talk about it, hopefully somebody would not just listen to it with one ear, but listen to it with both ears and take it to heart and run with it and push so that a difference will be made and our girls will be protected.
Definitely. You know, that reiterates with the total adage we all are familiar with. A stitch in time saves 9. So let's just afford to make hay while the sun shines. On today's topic, well, we're going to be looking at a slightly different dimension. We are still focusing on the girl child, but we'll be looking at championing women and girls' inheritance through legislative action. Are you a girl? Are you a woman of the female origin? Do you know that you have rights? Do you know that when people trample on this right, it could affect you physically, mentally, and emotionally? We have experts in the house who would do justice to the topic. And it has the honors of introducing them.
Yeah, so ain't I lucky? Okay, I'm not learned. No, not in that line. But we have people of high esteem, very learned gentlemen who are here with us. And they are going to lend their voices to this issue that is of great importance and is at the heart of the government and the government of Plateau State. Issues of girls' inheritance rights through legislative action. And the lawyers are here so that they would interpret. You know, you hear something, lawyers do all the interpretations.
all the legalists.
You know, all the small prints, you know, they read it and they tell us what it means. But Dr. Damon Dashe, he's a senior lecturer of the Faculty of Law, University of Jos. Good to have you on the Baroness, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. And good morning, viewers.
And he's not alone. He's here with Barrister Ngozi Achilefu. She is the former chairperson of FIDA and a consultant with the Norwegian Refugee Council in conjunction with the Plateau State Gender and Equal Opportunities Commission. Good to have you join us on the Baroness, ma'am.
Glad to be here. Hello. viewer.
Okay, they are ready.
And do you know what I love about this introduction? Is the fact that you have a repertoire of experiences. And when one just goes through everything you have experienced based on your CV, your credentials, it's mind-boggling. And I'm sure that looking at the rights of the girl in the society, you'll be able to address the topic as expected by the public. So thank you again for being a part of the Baroness.
Thank you, and hopefully.
You know, I want to kickstart this with, well, this question, which is, I'm sure is on the minds of many. When people say the girl child needs to be protected, she needs to be respected, her rights need to be protected at all costs, what exactly do they mean? Can we start with you, sir?
Thank you for this opportunity. For those who are of the faith, particularly, let's say the Christians, you would find out that even the Bible describes the woman as a weaker vessel. Now, coming down to the discourse, you would find out that women, generally speaking, are perceived to be weaker and vulnerable. And it is in that sense that I think the girl child deserves to be protected. Not like undermining the boy child, as it were, but I think given her peculiarities, she needs more attention. Speaking from experience, privileged to be a father of 3 girls, I would understand, or you would understand, that the attention to be given to a girl child differs from that of the boy child. Now, she needs to get validation from home. She needs to be catered for between the childbirth and to when she gets to puberty. The attention on her certainly is different from that of the boy child. Okay. So for you to be able to get the girl child to be the best that she can be, she deserves protection from all and sundry. And experiences have shown these days that it is not, the wolves are not even far from the home. So imagine if she's let out of the home without protection. She deserves protection whether at home. In some cases, she's regarded as a property that can also be inherited. So there are a lot of odds against the girl child. And these are narratives that we need to begin to strengthen and correct. Because we are all created by one God. We all have the same potentials, but one needs a little of prodding to be able to be the best that she can be. While the other one who is regarded as the he-goat, as it were, if, sorry for my choice of words, okay, but if actually not also tame, can become a villain to the society. So there's a need to balance, in as much as we also encourage that the girl child deserves a lot of attention and protection. We also need to also let the male folks understand that, yes, you seems to be mature enough, but again, you need to check the excesses that could come out from that disposition that the men folks have. So I think there's a need to balance, but again, largely the girl child deserves a lot of attention.
You know, it's quite interesting the way you brought it out. The girl child requires a lot of attention. But thinking about our society, the African society that is patriarchal in nature, and we lay so much emphasis on male dominance. Permit me to use that word. And if you are a lady, a woman, no matter how highly accomplished, the society tends to look at you as a rebel. Those that are very, very accomplished, those that have been able to carve a niche for themselves, are being looked down upon, frowned upon, sometimes even by the women folk themselves. You know, and sadly, we pass this down. We don't allow our daughters to be the best of themselves. And we take it to the point of having young children. And when you have a family of 4 children, and if you are unfortunate to have just 1 male child and 3 girls, from
Unfortunate in quote.
yes, unfortunate in quote, because from infancy it is being drugged.
Yeah.
You know, even if that male child is the youngest of the three,
Yeah.
they keep telling him,
He's
you know,
the
this
head.
is your house.
He's the
You know,
head.
you are their father. You know, and all those kind of languages, and he grows up
Superior.
thinking it's way forward. So what do we do? How do we check this? You know, legally now.
Thank you very much. That's exactly why we are here. And that's the mindset of the Norwegian Refugee Council in collaboration with the Plateau State Gender Commission. The way to check it, the way to clear this mindset, which has been there for ages, is through a legislative framework. Because a society that has no law, to a large extent, or they are not aware of existence of some laws that protect them, will actually go ahead doing what they want to protect them, will actually go ahead doing what they want to do. So for us to check this and bring everybody under one umbrella of law, there is need to explore avenue of getting a law to the table of the House of Assembly
Okay.
that will spell out the protective nature of the bill over the girls and the women and the girls. Just like Dr. Dashe said, it will spell out boundaries. It's not as if the law is coming, you know, to exonerate the male child from whatever he's entitled to. But the mindset of full entitlement of inheritance, with the exclusion of the blood sisters, is what this law is trying to address. It's trying to talk about this bill, rather, because it's not yet a law. So the bill, when passed to law, is going to spell out the percentage that is due to you as my brother and what is due to me as your sister on the Plateau State. And you can see that it is a bill that is looking at equality, promoting equality. So if, or at the time the bill is presented and, of course, deliberated on and eventually passed into law, it will help. There is so much acrimony in families because when you are disinherited as a sister, as a female child of the family, it doesn't go well. But you see yourself being vulnerable, being handicapped. You can't help yourself. There is actually not much, you know, that is protecting you. So it leaves you with acrimony over your brother. So you discover that when this one comes to fruition, such acrimony, of course, is going. We are not talking of the past now. Futuristically, there won't be anything like acrimony because we now know our boundaries. We now know what belongs to who and what belongs. And as a matter of fact, it will bring more unity, it will bring more empowerment, it will help a lot as, you know, as family members, because we are not even looking at people from outside your family. It is a problem within a family.
True.
Between siblings, blood siblings, whether polygamous or monogamous family. So everybody will be able to know what he is entitled to. So the law, the bill actually is going to address quite a number of things, even as a widow. You know, just like the doctor said, where widows are seen as chattels, you know, you can take over, you can buy them over as wives, and when they refuse to, you know, such proposals, they are subjected to such dehumanizing treatments, you know, that in this 21st century shouldn't be talked about.
You know, may I interject a bit? You've been talking about the bill.
Yes.
And I'm sure inquiring minds want to know what stage is a bill currently, or is there anything like that in the works? What stage is it in? Is it something that is in the thought process? So please, could you intimate us on that?
Okay, it's not just in the thought process. We've gone ahead of, we have brought it out of that level, having had so many consultations with stakeholders. And I must tell you that stemming from our interaction from our traditional father in the state, who frowned at such practices where a man is dead or a father is dead, uncles come, jet, pick everything in the name of he is my brother. Our grandfather, who is a father indeed, the Gwangwam Jos, he said this is unfair. It's very, very unfair. It cannot be sustained. If that's the situation, then all of us should go to House of Assembly and talk about this bill. The bill has been drafted. Think tanks have looked at it based on the feedbacks gotten from, the stakeholders, from different stakeholders, And I must tell you that even the House of Assembly is very sensitive to this. I think sometime in October when we had this groundbreaking ceremony for Ministry of Justice complex, the speaker was there, and when he was called up to give his goodwill message, I doffed my hat for him because of his goodwill message. He said that Plateau State needs a law that will protect women and girls' inheritance. The law has been drafted, the bill rather, has been drafted, scrutinized, and what is remaining is for us to present it through the Committee for Women Affairs and Social Development. And we have had interaction even with the chairman, talking about this. And of course, they are giving a nod to that. So it's not just at the thought level.
Okay.
It has gotten to be documented, but yet to be presented.
Okay. Dr. Dashe,
Yes.
you are from the academia,
Yes.
and sometimes the problem stems from the communities themselves, not just the families. Assuming you have a family who understands, a family who is comfortable with everybody being treated equally, the community itself frowns at some of these things. And we talk about values, the value system in our communities. Will this bill have any effect on the value systems of our communities?
Certainly it will. We are coming from a cultural background that hitherto, before now, has a lot of place for value, even in the custom or the culture. But what we have these days is a largely distorted customary laws that do not have relationship with values that will drive those customs.
Okay.
I give you an example. If you are of the traditional beliefs, you would find that as part of our culture, anyone who is not pure cannot go into the shrine.
True.
But that's not the case these days. You would find that people adjust this custom or culture, as it were, to suit their selfish desire. Now, that underscores the need for a law to address this. And that's why law is regarded as a social mechanism or instrument to regulate people's conduct in a given space. Now, for that law to really achieve the purpose for which it is meant for, the law has to be functional. And for a law to be functional, the law must indeed be seen to be made to address that particular problem that society is bedeviled with at a given point in time. This issue has become hydra-headed and needs to be addressed frontally. Why do I say this? beyond the classrooms. You come to court, you are inundated every other day with these kind of cases in court. A mother suing her biological son not to inherit her husband. Now, I am not telling, this is not stories, these are things we've seen in court. Siblings dragging one another to court, you are not supposed to inherit, or you shouldn't. Uncles taking over entitlement or what should be for the orphans. The children would have to either go to court or scamper for survival. Meanwhile, they have something that could have sustained them. Is that the kind of society we would continue to run with in the 21st century? Certainly no. So these practices, these experiences underscores the need to make this law to be able to address this. I give you a last scenario. I have clients whose parents are long gone. I think about 4 or 5 girls who are pretty doing well. The only surviving male child is a junkie.
That's it.
But yet he drums it in their ears that this is my father's property. Give him that property, he will sell it in the next 15 minutes.
True.
And will have nothing to fall back on. Yet these ladies are the ones sustaining the family, sustaining him, yet he keeps reminding them, it is my father's property. Now, it will be better for the society.
Should have faced the camera.
It will be better for the society to trust each member of this family with his own, her own share. Supposing the other one decides to waste his own, probably he will have a buffer to fall back on. Of course, it is said that the women are good managers, so maybe that could be another good argument.
You know what you're saying is all good and well, but don't you think that a contributing factor to this could be the fact that we underrate the importance of wills in our society? Let me explain.
Yes.
I have heard people make allusion to the fact that when you talk about wills,
Yes.
as maybe a couple just starting off,
Yes.
the husband will look at you. Are you attempting to kill me in the near future? Why do you want me to write a will? But in the near future,
Yeah.
what if an uneventuality happens, he loses his life or something, then the wife begins to drag with the in-laws, everybody begins to drag and all that. So don't you think that if we are properly enlightened to the importance of wills and many people make more effort to leave wills before they go, that these issues might be reduced to the barest minimum also?
You're very true. That's very correct. But I also want to add that both parties can make a will. Should be encouraged to make a will, not only the man.
Okay.
Both parties should be encouraged to make wills. Now, it may look as if that could be an antidote to the problem, but yet it also has its own snacks. And what are they? Supposing that will doesn't go down well with other members of the family, it can also be challenged.
Okay.
They will want to impute some other reasons to challenge that will. Now, there is another way out. Surviving parents who, while alive, can give their properties to their beneficiaries or their family members while they are alive. We call it gift intervivors. Supposing you are my daughter, I can say, okay, can you help manage this? Can you help manage this? I see how you manage these properties while I'm alive. That also helps to address some of this issue. But again, the bill has been talked about seems to envisage some of these scenarios where parents can make gift intervivors, and if gift intervivors are made, it should be respected. So will, yes, is good, but again, it also has a little snack. And then given our culture, people feel once you're telling me make a will, you're telling me I'm going to die. Especially that the will speaks ambulatory at the death of the person. But again, in other climes, you still find people taking up insurance, life insurance or life assurance policies.
Okay.
These are other investments. A friend of mine recently told me whenever it happens, his family may be stepping into about $150 million US.
Okay.
So you could say this is like providing for your family while alive.
Or providing them a motive to kill you while you're
That's another thing too. Yes, I just hope you've not read a lot of the James.
That is a lot of motive. Yeah. Truly.
It's quite interesting the turn of this conversation. But we will take a very quick break. When we come back, I'd like to know, because there are lots of thoughts that are running through my mind. When someone decides to challenge the will, or to even challenge the bill itself, is there provision in the bill that would handle such persons who want to challenge what is already on ground? That will be after we take a break. The program is still The Baroness. Don't go away.
We'll be back briefly. And just remember that you can also contribute to The Baroness by
Money one can give it to a man. You understand? So yeah.
I know it's all you got to just be strong.
Okay, the man does not manifest anything.
And it's a fight just to keep it together. I know you think that you are too far gone.
Thank you, comrade.
But hope is never lost.
Okay, Chairman, don't do that.
Hope is never lost.
We have another caller. That's all.
Consider that very
Hold on. Don't.
Money one can give it
Stay
to
tuned to The Baroness on PRTV Just every Tuesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and repeats on Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Stay one step.
The Baroness, changing lives a day at a time.
You get through.
Welcome back to The Baroness. Yes, before we went on a break, we were talking about the wheel. Very mischievous Kermun. Talking about the wheel and what would happen. From the example that Dr. Dashe gave, somebody who has a lot to give his family, and his family stands to gain so much more at his demise. And our next question. Could that be a motive? Anyway, we're not looking at that, but we're looking at people who might want to renege. They want to challenge. This law. No. We have a lot of no sayers. If I may use that word. So, is there any provision now before this bill gets passed into law, so they know and they put their mind to rest if they had plans of challenging whatever comes up?
Maybe to add to that, yes.
Barrister Achilefu.
I know some people have argued based on maybe the mental competence of the person who probably passed the bill. Is that something that could be an issue moving forward?
No. Okay, she will take it out.
Maybe both of you answer, but she would start.
Okay, if you're talking about the mental capacity, you're not going back to the will issues. Because when you're talking about inheritance issue, you're talking about people that died in intestate. They didn't do any will. So truly, if somebody is not mentally balanced, or if there's any form of influence over the bill, it can be challenged.
Okay.
That's it. It can be challenged. But when you're talking about a legislation, a legal framework, it's not people that are not mentally balanced that go into that. It's not one-man business. It's a teamwork when you're talking about the bill. So there won't be any challenge in terms of the person was not in his right frame of mind. That's a one-man's business. Okay. Yes. But if you are restricting it to inheritance, then the man in the first place had no will.
But we're looking at inheritance and people wanting to challenge. Now, when this bill now gets passed,
right?
We have
deviants.
Yes, everywhere. And some people might bring the religious card. They want to play the religious card.
Yes.
Some might want to play, the traditional card.
Yes.
And things like that. So, do we have any clause?
Sure.
In that?
Are clear as to penalties for those that will contravene the provisions of this bill when eventually passed to law. And that, of course, if somebody decides to contravene the provisions of the law will not stretch out its hand and gets the person, he gets the punishment, which will serve as a deterrent to others. But you see, people will also need to know that this law is in place, and that is where awareness comes in. They have to understand that this is the law, and if you contravene the law, this is what will come up. So once the bill becomes law, there will be much awareness, there will be much sensitization, so that people will be able to know that this is the law, and if you contravene the law, this is the punishment there is.
Okay. Do you want to add to that?
Maybe just to add, let us be clear about this. The bill in view has nothing to do with will, as she has mentioned.
Okay.
There is a law, the will law governing the will. But let me add, in addressing or attempting to address your concern, we have a way that we try to mitigate issues of litigation or challenging a will on the state of the testator's sanity. What do? While writing the will, we ensure that the testator is recorded. You will use video. You use to record him while he was writing the will, signing, and ensure everything gives the clear demeanor of the person as at the time of signing the will. In fact, he goes ahead to read the will while he's being recorded, so that by the time the will is being unsealed from a safe custody, you will have the opportunity to also watch the video.
Okay.
You understand? And that can give you a clear sense whether the person, as at the time of making this will, has issue of dementia, or there was influence, or what have you. So these are certain methods we have also adopted to help in addressing or mitigating some of this issue. Because they said that the child who wants to cry, even when you tell him, come and take breakfast, he will start crying. So, but at least it will mitigate some of these issues. Then coming on the bill, as it's proposed bill as it were, yes, there are processes in place for you to run through before a bill or a proposed bill becomes a law at the end of the day. Certainly when it gets to the House of Assembly, they would have done their hearings, and after the hearing, sittings, and then one stages to the other, then definitely there will be public hearing. And at that public hearing, the stakeholders and the public are allowed to come and interface with the bill, raise their concerns, submit memos, push forth their positions. At the end of the day, the entirety of the deliberations during the public hearing is taken into account. And that, after it becomes, whatever comes out of it will be a reflection of both the public's view as well as the sponsors of the bill and that of the Houses of Assembly. At that point, some of these thorny issues that probably would surface themselves eventually would have been addressed. But in any case, supposing you are not able to address all, and it is not possible to address all, anyone who has a misgiving with the law can go to court and challenge it.
Okay.
Yes, and if the court so finds that that position is antithetical to human existence or whatever he holds dearly, the court will make a pronouncement on it. But until then, it is the law, and it shall so remain the law.
Wow.
We have situations where court stands down certain provisions of certain law, not entirely the law, but certain provisions. For example, if any provisions here run contrary to the Constitution, by virtue of Section 1, subsection 3, it is declared null and void. So if such situation happen, the court can stand out that particular provision, but maybe not the entire law.
Wow, it's all good and well. The law is the law. And of course, we are at that time on the Baroness when our phone lines are open, and you can also be a part of this ongoing conversation. The number to call is 0703-654-5779. 0703-654-5779. We believe it's presently on your television set. You can also equally drop us text messages and we will respond appropriately. Now, looking at what you have said, everything starts from the family. Looking at the fact that beyond the legal framework right now, it's been an ongoing tug of war here and there. While some believe that still the rights of the girl child when it comes to inheritance should actually be protected at all costs, some still from the family point of view believe that the girl child is feeble-minded. She does not have the capacity to do all of these things. How can we ensure that as a society we change these perceptions? Because this is something that keeps going over and over. And even at the end of the day, even if the bill is passed, it will still be a problem if we do not address it fundamentally. So how do we attempt to do that? Can we start with you, ma'am?
And to add to that, you know, there's such circumstances that might lead to the children, the male child now being disinherited because of certain behaviors by the family. And at the end of the day, when it comes to issues of inheritance, he doesn't have a place. Is there any provision for such people in this bill right now?
So this is a double question for both of you, but we'll start with the...
It's all right.
Okay.
I think let me start with your question about the girl child. Now, when we talk about a child, we are talking about ages 0 to 18.
Sure.
And why we are talking about their protection is because of their vulnerability. Now, if the father is demised, while she's still in school, how does she finish the school? How does she complete her education? If everything is carted away by uncles. So you see, the proposed bill is looking at the fact that she should have a portion of whatever is left. The brothers should have their own portion. The boys as well, the boy child could also be, the boy could also be a child. All of them should be protected. And within that period, the mother, if she's still alive, or whoever is the guardian, should hold whatever the father has left on trust. She should be taken care of. Those things should not be taken away, but they should be a source of assisting that girl child through her education or whatever trade the child is engaged with, to make sure that by the time she crosses the boundary of childhood, she will be able to have the empowerment, which could be academic or skill, whichever one. She has become of age, she will be able to stand and take care of herself. But if you miss it when she was a child, then she's going to have great problems when she has become of age, because she's not empowered to help herself. So it is important that she is protected. I'm sure there's no mother, if the husband is gone, that will not want to use what is left to take care of her children. You understand? So it is very important that she is protected, and it should be spelled out what belongs to her. And it should be used, it should be utilized in empowering her academically in whatever way.
Yes, I will start from Anita's question. The right to disinherit is a sole prerogative of the parent.
Okay.
Yes, no one can question it. If the parent, while alive, decided to disinherit his child, and he wasn't pacified while living, to undo that, you understand? And after he's gone, no one can do that, because it then means that I do not want this child to inherit me. Okay. So no one can do that. So it is a right that inures to the man while he or the parent while alive. Okay. The law, as the bill as it is, try to introduce some innovations. For example, there are scenarios where you would have children whom the deceased parent or deceased father recognized why he was alive. There could be children out of wedlock.
Okay.
The bill tried to look at such scenario because these are emerging realities.
Sure.
The child didn't bring himself into this world. Why should he suffer?
Circumstances.
By circumstances of his birth. And this is in sync with the constitutional provision that no one should be discriminated on the circumstances of his birth.
Okay.
Now, or it could be determined through DNA. So these are certain peculiarities that the bill tried to look at going forward. That, be that as it may, coming to the issue of the girl child, a lot of argument has been canvassed that when you give her properties or assets from her late father's estate, she would get married and take it. On another plank, when you look at it, a lot of times it's just the fear of the unknown or selfishness that makes people push forth this kind of narratives. A woman shouldn't benefit, girls shouldn't benefit, yet you have daughters, yet you have a wife. Now, when we begin to look at an uninclusive society, we're better for it because when you train a woman or you train a girl child, you are not just training one person, but you're training a whole community.
Exactly.
You may just train a child. At the end of the day, he takes instructions from a woman. Because like the joke says, that any man whose wife is controlling him, she'll stand up. And everyone stood up, and one man was seated. The clergy said, "Why are you sitting?" My wife said I shouldn't stand up.
That's a control too.
So, and this also underscores the ill treatment meted to women and girl child by women themselves.
Exactly.
True.
A lot of these decisions you see the men take outside largely is being influenced by a woman somewhere, according to Buhari, the other room. So these are certain realities that we need to deal with, like you had mentioned, right from the root. If we must have an inclusive society, then let's have a frank and open discussions about these issues. There is no guarantee that because you are a man, you could be successful in life or you should be successful in life.
True.
That's right.
A lot of times we have seen trusting the men with some of this asset turned out to be the case of Jesus Christ trusting the other people with talent, and the one said, "I know you," and nothing came out of it. So I think we need to have a frank and open discussions, understanding that if a man is sick and there is no one to donate blood, if it is a woman that is there, once they have the same blood group,
Whatever.
his body will not say, "No, I won't take that blood from you because it is from a woman." The body will not say, "Why did you give me blood from a woman? I don't want this blood, take it out." He would live and survive, and that wouldn't turn him into a woman or a girl child. He wouldn't even start behaving like one. So I think beyond this seeming funny scenario we've created, we need to have a frank discussion.
True. And I'm glad you're confronting some of these challenges, realities head on. But looking at it, it is all good and well that the bill is in the offing. But obviously it's going to take a whole lot of time because it's a process.
Yes.
Now, in the meantime, what does a woman, a girl child do if she's confronted with some of these challenges? Maybe she's being kicked out of her land, her property, her house, because allegedly she cannot inherit as a woman. So what should one do if they find themselves in this present predicament? Should they fool themselves and say, well, the bill might take years, let me wait for the bill, or is there an alternative to that?
Or does it even give them power to get property themselves?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
especially for women that have the wherewithal to get property for themselves.
Yes.
Are they protected? Before you say that, respond to that. Viewer, you can stream the Baroness on Facebook Live, Prtvc Live on Facebook right now, and you would catch up with what we're talking about.
All right. Okay. Well, responding to that, I want to, first of all, make very salient points here. that this proposed bill is not in any way an attack to tradition. It's not an attack to tradition. But of course, if a tradition is outdated, we need to agree that it is outdated. And one of them is this disinheritance. So it's important that we see from that perspective, because it's not, Plateau is not trying to lead through this proposal. There are other states that have seen the need, and they have this structure, this legal framework in place, and it's protecting their women and girls. And now talking about if there are other, ways before even the passage of the proposed bill into law. Yes, before now, there are people that have gone to court to challenge, such discrimination. We had a case of Ukeji and Ukeji, talking about issue of the female child not being part of it. Mojoko talking about the widow. And they went up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said no. In line with our Constitution, you cannot disinherit a woman based on her gender. So even before our own proposed bill is passed into law based on our own peculiarities, somebody can also challenge such, I call it wickedness, unfair treatment, can be challenged in court, and I can assure you that you can also get justice based on the precedent that is on ground.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
Do you want to add something?
Okay, let me add. Usually for you to test a culture or a custom, it has to pass what we call the repugnancy test.
Okay.
Is that culture, custom repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience? Once the answer is in the affirmative, such a custom cannot be sustained. So when you said she is a woman and cannot inherit, does being a woman makes her less a human being?
Doesn't.
So these are certain tests, like she has mentioned. These cases have tested some of these issues. But the beauty about this bill is that there are a lot of innovations that had also been brought in to be able to address our peculiar situation on the plateau. And it is going to be a win-win situation for all and sundry. Because if you don't have a female today, your own son could have a female.
Sure.
Or your grandchildren could also have female daughters. And they would all be married to women. We are not doing same-sex marriages in Nigeria. So we do know that it is a reality that we need to address, and then if only we give it a shot, I think we would all be better for.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly. I think we all need to support, not just give it a shot, but support it wholeheartedly, because in the future, everybody will be protected. You say you have sons, you would have daughters-in-law. Protect them.
Yes.
And when you have girls, make sure that you follow through so they are protected as well. And we're hopeful that this bill will be passed into law in the nearest.
And let me just add, there was something she said that I actually would also want to address. Yes, she said it would be difficult for a mother not to take care of her children. But again, in law, for every general rule, there's always an exception. We have had mothers who also put their interests first before that of their children. We have such scenarios. So the proposed bill also envisages scenarios like that, that as a trustee or an administrator of the estate, you are expected to give account.
Okay. Accountability, bottom line. Everybody is expected to give account. And if you are just joining us now, sorry, but you are very, very late. But we have good news for you. All you need to do is head over to YouTube. Yes, I was informed that it's YouTube, our YouTube page, Prtvc Live. Go to that YouTube page and you can catch up.
And we actually have previous editions too on Facebook Live. You could actually juggle both. Yes.
So Facebook Live, YouTube Live, you would get to watch everything that happened. If you just listen to the statement that Dr. Damon Dashe said, and you're like, what else did he say? you just go over to YouTube and you'll catch all the other things that you missed out on. Thank you so much for coming on the program, and also Barrister Ngozi Achilefu.
Thank you
so much for coming.
Thank you.
Viewer, this battle is for all of us
Sure.
to fight.
Yes.
Let us ensure that our society
Support.
is well protected, and when this bill gets passed into law, we should know that it is for the future of our children, those born, those unborn, and for the good of Nigerians.
Sure. And then beyond that, just have common sense, just have human sympathy. Realize that you are connected to a woman at every point, a
Sure.
female. So what you do not want to be done to yours, do not do to another's. Until next time on the Baroness, please ensure you keep a date with us.
You fill your mouth with words and words. You twist them well. Oh yes, I heard. Shits and ties don't cover your life. I see you come. You're the drive. He said we get the same philosophy. You know me, he said we get the same philosophy. Society. You know me, he said we get the same philosophy. You know me, he said we get the same philosophy. You know me, he said we get the same society. Society.